Good evening, friends. Jason here for AxodysFC. It's been a interesting day in the Premier League. Spurs are still top of the table. The big game, of course, was Arsenal City, and I watched most of it. And for most of the game, it wasn't very good. I would say it was pretty. Neither team played great. City's still playing without Rodri, and that. And of course, De Bruyne has been out as well. And between those two, they are not quite the same team. They're still super deep, and they will figure things out. But right now, they're looking kind of shaky. And furthermore, in yet another instance of baffling Premier League officials and VAR, Kovacic for City should have gone off on a red for a tackle that was fairly similar to what we saw against Bissouma, where he put his studs right into the back of Ødegaard's ankle. He got a yellow card, but he didn't get a red card for what clearly should have been. I mean, if nothing else, you can't be letting players do that to stars on teams. Just not okay. It's just so disappointing that was just a yellow card, because it was clearly a red card play. And it doesn't matter that it's an Arsenal player or whatever. That's just so disappointing to see nonsense like that. So disappointing. So, yeah, the Premier League officials seem unable to stay out of the news for making blatantly terrible decisions. So, hats off to them. But it didn't matter, actually, because Arsenal made the awesome play late in the game. I've forgotten the player that hit the shot. It basically, on a funny note, it was an assist from late sub Kai Havertz, the oft maligned positionless forward/midfielder who knows exactly what he is. Anyway, he did what they needed him to do in that instance, and it worked out for them. So, and they were doing it without Saka too, who's out injured at the moment. So, hats off to them. They did what they needed to do in a game where neither team looked particularly great for most of the game, and actually, David Raya looked pretty shaky at times too. Not sure how Ramsdale is feeling at this point, but he's got to be conflicted. I hope he at least gets some cup games, if nothing else, because it's interesting. Other games today. So Newcastle had a tough game with West Ham, and it ended up being a 2-2 draw. I figured that would be a very tough matchup for Newcastle after, they've been doing well lately. But, both those teams, that seems like with the style of play they tend to do, that would be a tough one for Newcastle. Other games, Brighton and Liverpool, another 2-2 draw. That was a much more entertaining game while I was watching it, and the way it finished, definitely Liverpool I would expect to be contending for the league title, but Brighton is certainly showing some stuff, and that was a game at home, so they're certainly going to be a dangerous team when we have to face them. Let's see. Other games. I've got them written down here. Oh yeah, Wolves 1-1 Villa. That's kind of a disappointing outcome for Villa. I'd expect them to do better against Wolves, but Wolves have been playing better lately too. So, these things happen. So those were the main games today. And of course, on a funny fantasy note, the two teams that were leading the main Premier League limited competition on So Rare were the two people that ran full Everton blocks, where they picked a squad of 5 players from Everton's team, and it just so happened, like the 5 best players from Everton, and it just so happened that in Everton's best game in a long time that they won, like, was it 3-1 or was it 3-0? I bet it was 3-0, because that would have been given Pickford, for a clean sheet, a massive boost as well. So anyway, they totally dominated that competition. Those two people that ran that lineup, and unfortunately, let's see what happened to me. I had Erling Haaland's slump has been basically killing me. He's the one free card that I include in my lineup, and he's been so disappointing since I've been running him. Maybe I'm taking one for the team to he'll keep in a slump while I keep playing. Yeah, it's baffling how anonymous he's been for City in their recent struggles. And it just seems, it's baffling to me that a guy that we've seen be so dominant is not getting the ball in dangerous positions suddenly. Yeah, it's so weird. And but at the same time, it also, in terms of, you talk about the Harry Kane versus Erling Haaland comparisons and etc., and how everybody wants Haaland. Harry Kane's all-around fantasy numbers are so superior to Haaland's that it's just like, yeah, that's kind of all the evidence that I need that as great as Haaland is, and we know he'll improve and continue to add things to his game and stuff, it's still night and day. And actually, I think it is paying off for Harry Kane to be with Bayern, just in terms of the recognition he's getting, both in Germany and worldwide, because of it. So I think everything's working out well for all parties. But yeah, interesting. So I think that's about all I want to talk about for tonight. Thanks again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy these. And remember, to dare is to do.